Good morning, dear students. Good morning. Dear students, today we are going to study something different, like not the usual sort of studies. So, today I'm going to ask you some questions first. Let's make it interactive today, and you need to just text me the answer of whatever I'm asking you. Okay. So today, my first question to you. I hope many people, students, have joined already. Okay, so today, please let me know the first question that I have in my mind. That is, what do you think? What do you think is the purpose of joining a language class like English, Hindi, Sanskrit? What do you think is the purpose? Why do you think learning a language or attending English class or Hindi class or Sanskrit class, especially English and Hindi class, is important for you? I would like to get your responses. So please let me know. Just text me your responses. Why do you think we should attend language class? I am awaiting your response, dear students. So please do respond me quickly so that we can go ahead I can go ahead with the next question. Why do you think what do you think is the purpose of joining a language class? Can you hear me, dear students? Okay, Manager, thank you to be able to speak that language correctly. Okay. So any other response? Thank you, Manager. Any other response? Why do you think we should join a language class, be it English, be it Hindi? Nandini says we can communicate easily through different languages and can learn grammar. Um, okay, Anusri, for our communication frequency. Shibam says English emphasizes reading and writing. Your vocabulary and grasp of English grammar will improve. To improve vocabulary, Anudipa says to improve vocabulary. Okay. So Krishna says it will help us in future and communicate with other people. Okay, okay. So dear students, all of you have given good answer, very very good answer. Some of you are saying for your vocabulary, some of you are saying to communicate effectively, some of you are saying to learn a language properly, some of you are saying to improve your reading and writing skill as well as your grammar skill. Some of you, like Rashik Upre, is saying grammar good for communication. Okay. So my question to you is, of course, the purpose of learning a language is to improve our communication skill so that we can interact with people more and more effectively. It's a very good strategy to learn because if you learn it properly, in that case, your communication skill will certainly get a boost up, right? And you know how important is communication in today's world. So now my second question is based on communication skill. So my second question to all of you is, why do you think we've got to have a very good communication skill? Why do you think? What is your opinion? Please do text me 2 or 3 lines. Why do you think it's important to have an effective communicative skill? In what way communication helps us? Why do you think we should have a rock solid foundation in good communication? Why do you think? Okay, so Krishna says if we move to other places or country, it will help us to communicate with others. Anusri says to get connected with people quickly and easily. Akanksha Srivastav says to be able to present our views to others or understand what others are speaking. Nandini says others would understand our communication. Shivam says good communication skills are essential to allow others and yourself to understand information more accurately and quickly. Very good, Shivam. Sanchita says it comes used in future. Arihant, okay, uh, is here to say anything? Arihant, good morning. Okay, so let me tell you, dear students, all of you are absolutely correct. Um, why do you require good communication skill? We require good communication skill so as to understand, put across our message to others. Number one, effectively, and number two, to understand what others are saying. So that is why we need to have good language ability, right? If we have good vocabulary, if we understand different kinds of accent in English, like in English there are different types of accent, like American accent, like British accent, like Australian accent, like Canadian accent. So if we watch on YouTube different types of accents, if we watch on YouTube different types of English, then our understanding power of English language becomes very powerful, right? In that case, we can understand people from all across the globe. Okay, it will not be a impediment for us to understand people because we can understand all types of accent: American accent, British accent, Canadian accent, Australian accent, so Indian accent. So dear students, along with learning the language, I recommend you to also watch English in American accent, in British accent, and in Australian accent. Okay, so that in future, whenever you go for job interviews or group discussion or you attend any webinar, the resource person of which can be an American or an Australian, you are able to understand. You are able to understand their language. Therefore, we need to familiarize ourselves with not only Indian accent, we need to familiarize ourselves with accents of different countries as well, like you can say Canada, like Australia, like you can say America, Britain. So, dear students, from today onwards, you watch, like for example, today you watch American accent, the next day, there is tomorrow you watch Australian accent, the next day you watch British accent, right? So please make yourself familiar with all types of accents in English language so that you are able to understand all people of all countries and all regions, right? That is very important, right? So why should we improve our communication skill? We should improve our communication skills so that we are able to put across our message to others effortlessly without creating confusion in the minds of the listeners, because the more lucidly, the more clearly, and the more logically we speak to others, we are more understandable to others, right? So therefore, dear students, that makes me to ask you my third question, that is how to become effective in our communication, how to be a good communicator. So I shall require your input on that. Can you please text me your views on how to become an effective communicator? How can you become an effective communicator? How can you become an expert communicator so that you can put your message across and you can build up a good network of people with your communication skill. So what do you require to be a good communicator is my next question. Yes, Ayushi Singh said the good communication allows others to and us to understand information more accurately and properly. Yeah, of course, of course. But Ayushi, now my question is, why? How can we become a good communicator? How can we become a good communicator so that we can put our message across to other people more effectively, and we are able to understand people more effectively, and we are able to create a good network of people with our good communication skill. So how can we become a good communicator is my next question to you, dear students. Nandini says using appropriate body language, having a plan, listening actively. Okay, very good point, Nandini. What about others? Shruti said by asking questions. Okay, let me also see. Manager says correct pronunciation of words in different accents helps to communicate effectively. Okay, this is the pronunciation part of communication manager. Okay, very good. The pronunciation is important because if your pronunciation is not neutral, people will fail to understand you. We cannot have a regional accent. Prashik says by making grammar and vocabulary good. Okay, of course. This is the language part. What Prashik said. So it is very important because if we need to be grammatically correct to be effective in our communication. Otherwise, people will not understand what we are saying. Prashik is also correct. Prashik speaks about the language part. Manager speaks about the pronunciation part. Kamla Khan says ask questions to give people an opportunity to share their knowledge. But Kamla Khan, this is irrelevant answer. Why? Because I didn't ask you that. I asked you how can you become a good communicator. Okay, by asking questions to people, you cannot be a good communicator. Okay, this might be a part, of course, but it is not an essential ingredient to become a good communicator. Okay, like Manager said, improving our pronunciation. Like Prashik said, by improving our grammar and vocabulary. Okay, Sanchita said body language should be perfect. Yes, body language is very important, Sanchita and others. Body language is very important. Like for example, when we are cracking jokes, for example, or when we are saying something humorous, so we must have lot of smile in our face, laughter on our face. Our body language should be very humorous. Okay, in the sense that our body language should reflect accordingly. Okay, so in terms of our eye expression or our face expression, right? So this is very important. Body language. Next, knowing our purpose. Aishu says knowing our purpose, listening actively, speaking clearly, using appropriate body language. Okay, so listening is also very important. Like Ayushi said, Ayushi, I'll take your listening point because other points are repeated actually. So Ayushi, I'll take your listening point. Now, of course, if you listen to people, you can be a very good communicator. It will help you because if you listen to people, in that case, you shall be able to understand their problem, understand their message, and then you can revert back to them. Understood? So listening is very important. You need to be an active listener. Because nowadays what happens, dear students, people don't want to listen much, right? Suppose there is a discussion going on, he or she wants to exert his point of view only or assert his point of view only. But the more patient you are as a listener, the better communicator you are as a person. Always remember that. Okay, always remember that you need to be patient listener to be able to be a better communicator, because the more patiently you listen to someone, the better way you can communicate to him or her. That is why Ayushi, this point is very important. Listening. Riddhi said confidence is important. Nityam says confidence is also very important. Okay, I repeated. Palak, you have repeated this point. Confidence is important, but where will the confidence come from? Can confidence come out of the blue? Confidence doesn't come out of the blue. Confidence will come out of your ability to perform. If you are having a good pronunciation, if you have good command over the language, if you have good vocabulary, if you have good tonal quality, if you have beautiful body expression, in that way you can become confident. So confidence is directly proportional to your ability to perform. If you are not able to perform, you can never develop confidence. Okay, so confidence is not a directly related to your communication skill. Okay, it confidence develops or builds up automatically, right? So let us revise this particular question. How can you become a good communicator? Number one, our pronunciation has to be neutral enough. When we speak, people should not understand that we represent a particular region, like for example Punjab or Jammu and Kashmir, or Bihar or Uttar Pradesh or Karnataka or Assam or Uttarakhand. Okay, our language should not reflect our ethnic identity, right? Only then we should be considered to be having neutral accent. So our pronunciation should be good enough, neutral enough to be to pass for the fact that we do not represent our tongue should not represent our region. Okay, like some people are there, whenever they speak, you can easily understand that they belong to a particular region. Understood? So that should not be there in your language. So that is why first point is we must develop neutral accent. We must have sort of good pronunciation. Number two is your vocabulary. Okay, so how can you develop your vocabulary? You can develop vocabulary nowadays. There are multiple ways of developing vocabulary nowadays. For example, you listen to podcast. There are so many people on Spotify, famous people on Spotify. You can listen to their podcast. By listening, you can improve your vocabulary, as well as by reading different blogs and all that. You can improve your vocabulary. Supposing that you are interested in fashion, supposing that you are interested in web designing, so you read articles on web designing. You shall be getting a lot of words based on web designing, based on information technology. If you are good at if you are interested in fashion technology or fashion designing, then you go through the podcast of fashion designing, and read the articles on fashion designing on the website. Then your vocabulary on fashion designing will improve, right? So depending on your interest areas, first you start with that particular topic only. If your interest is sports, for example, then go through the podcast of sports, go through the sports website, go through the articles of sports. Then you will develop interest, because it is your passion. So if we work if we work in line with our passion, in that case we improve rapidly, right? If you want to be a sports person, go on reading about sports articles, go on listening to sports podcasts. This is how you can develop good vocabulary. At the same time, you can develop your grammar as well, because language can be best adopted or learned through listening, dear students. Remember that when a child speaks, "Mummy, I am feeling hungry," child doesn't know that he or she is using present continuous tense, right? That the child picks up automatically, "Mummy, I am feeling hungry," right? The child doesn't know that he or she is using present continuous tense. So this is exactly the same way as to how language should be picked up. Language is picked up only through listening, dear students, only and only through listening, right? Therefore, increase the listening time. Wear a headphone, plug in a earphone, and then listen to different kinds of podcasts of your subject areas. Like I love listening to technology podcasts, so I keep listening to technology podcasts. Okay, because this is where my interest lies. So I have ended up learning so many words based on technology. So right, likewise, if you have interest in sports, if you have interest in fashion designing, if you have interest in web designing, so you listen to podcast on those areas, then your vocabulary will definitely improve, right? So that is also one of the best ways to improve your vocabulary, as well as your pronunciation and grammar. And next is, dear students, your tonal quality. So you've got to improve your tonal quality, okay? Whenever you listen to good English, try to model those beautiful speakers, okay? You need to have someone who you can model, right? If you love someone's accent, so follow them, okay? Follow him or her and try to speak like him or her. So that is how, by modeling someone, keeping someone our role model, we can definitely improve on our pronunciation part, right? So this is how we can improve our pronunciation. I gave you tips on improving your grammar, vocabulary, as well as grammar, right? And if you improve your vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, then automatically you will develop self-confidence and you shall be a good speaker. One more thing, dear students, what is very important before you wind up, what is more important than everything else put together is something else. Do you know what is that? What do you think besides listening, besides speaking, besides grammar, besides pronunciation, besides body language, what else is required to be able to be a good communicator? Let me tell you, it's a bit difficult for you, dear students. Let me tell you. Always remember that your content matters a lot. Nobody has spoken about the content. Everybody has spoken about the like pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, body language, listening, and all that. But nobody has spoken about content. That is very important, dear students. Whatever you speak must make sense. Otherwise, people will not listen to you. Understood? Always try to make your content very rich. Say something what nobody has heard about. Say something what is new to people you are addressing to. Okay, say something which is interesting for people. And always remember, do not be redundant in your interaction. Redundant का मतलब क्या होता है? Do not be repetitive. कोई भी पॉइंट आपने बोल दिया उसको रिपीट मत करो बार बार. ओके, जब आप समराइज करोगे तब जाके रिपीट कर सकते हो, लेकिन बीच में एक बार पॉइंट बोल दिया उसको मत रिपीट करो. डोंट बी रिडंडेंट इन योर एक्सप्रेशन, इन योर इंटरेक्शन विद पीपल. ओके, सो हाउ टू improve our content? By being to the point. Okay, make content in such a manner so that you don't digress from your point, you don't deviate from your main topic. ठीक है ना? So you make it value point based. Make your content rich. How to make your content rich? You can make your content rich by being to the point, by focusing on what you want to speak only, not anything else. Then don't be repetitive in your interaction with people, right? And say something which very few people say about. Okay, be unique in your interaction with people. Say something what nobody has heard. Say something which is very innovative and interesting, right? So this is how we can improve our content part. Okay, so dear students, hopefully you've understood how to improve your communication skill, how to improve your pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary. And we'll talk about body gesture some other day, because body language is very important. So we'll have a separate session for that, body language. So dear students, yes, Palak, what you say, you should be confident in that. Yes. So your confidence should come, Palak, only when you speak something what makes sense to others, right? Whatever you speak must make sense to others. So if your content is good, then of course you shall have confidence in whatever you speak, right? So thank you so much, dear students, for being connected to me for all this time. And we had a different type of class today. I hope you understood and it was interesting for you, because this is what we have to understand. Okay. And one more thing before I wind up, dear students, one more thing. Like whenever you read a particular lesson from your syllabus, for example, you've gone through his first flight, you've gone to Nelson Mandela. So from your lessons also, you pick out some sentences which you think are very important for your communication skill, right? Which you think will be very much required when you interact with people. So you have to pick up some sentences as it is from the book and write down on a diary or on a notebook, so that you can use similar sentence structures in interacting with other people. This is how you can make your sentence rich. So it is also important to make your sentence rich, right? So your syllabus lessons will come also as a very useful resource for you to improve your sentence structure and your language, right? So we shall also learn how to incorporate or integrate our syllabus language into our communication skill. That I will show you whenever I will teach you any lesson, particular lesson, right? So this is how, dear students, we can be a very good and effective communicator. And also, dear students, please do write at least one page every day. Do write at least one page. Whatever you feel like, you write one page. You can blog, you can write topics of your interest. You can blog one page every day, right? Thank you, dear students. We shall meet tomorrow. Till then, if you haven't submitted your listening and reading worksheet, please do upload it on Google Classroom. Those of you who haven't done it, please do it today positively. Reading and listening worksheet that I have given you already on Google Classroom. Please refer to Google Classroom. and work it out on your English notebook, and please do upload it on Google Classroom. Okay, I shall see it tonight. I shall check tonight. Bye bye. Take care and have a nice day.